So, okay, so we are just going to go over chapters 4 and 5 of Permission to Offend. I'd love to know. Let me know in the chat if you're reading along. Totally fine if you're not, but I highly recommend. I say this every time. Like, the further along I get in this book, the more that I'm like, whoa, I needed to hear all of these things, but also a lot of them are not things I haven't. It's okay, Catherine, if you're behind. I'm actually not totally through with chapter 5. So I'm gonna have to play a little bit catch up too. But um I thought this one was so good because honestly, this book is doing a lot of self-reflection and like really figuring out who you are and what matters to you and why you respond to the things that things the way that you do. And overall, just like this book is really, we talk about like personal growth and development books. This is like an actionable thing that you can do, like an actual framework that you can walk through. And it's been really good for me so far. So, chapter 4. And I'm gonna just like kind of read these to y'all so you can kind of figure out where you fit in this. So in chapter 4, she's talking about empathy and understanding the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. So, and a lot of people get empathy and sympathy confused, and empathy is truly being able to understand where someone is coming from. And then sympathy is where you feel sorry for what they're going through. You feel sorry for their truth. And so she says, by tapping into empathy, you'll be able to offend more freely because you'll be speaking your truth with a higher degree of love, compassion, and understanding for the other person. And so I love that because a lot of times, many of us are afraid to say how we feel or our own opinion because we're afraid of what the other person will perceive it. Whenever we just have to, like, through this whole process, like, understanding that who cares how they perceive it? You know your truth. You know where your heart is, and the compassion that maybe you said, whatever it was, or whatever scenario it is. And so she walks through 4 different quadrants, and I want to share those with y'all. I saw Blakely already said that she's the critic, and so am I. So there's 4 different quadrants. I'll just show y'all for those that don't have the book. So it looks like this. There's 4 different quadrants. And so she talks about this is like your identity framework. And so, and I can take a little picture of this and send it in the groups too, but she's talking about high truth, low truth is the T, and then low faith, high faith is like the horizontal part. And so each quadrant, so if you're a critic, the top left, then that means you have high personal truth, low faith. And that's the one that I was like, ugh, because every little thing. So if you're a critic, you're indecisive, hello, perfectionist, negative self-talk, comparisonitis, blame, shame, fierce judgment. Let me know in the chat if you feel like you're a critic. The next one is pleaser. And at first I thought, oh, I bet I'm a pleaser because I just immediately think of people pleaser. But this one is breaks boundaries like that you've set up for yourself. Low self-integrity, has influence but no authority, or maybe nervous to use that authority. Fears rejection and defamation, negative self-talk, false starts. So like you start, but you're like not totally starting. You think you're starting and you're not going for it. Or guilt, fear. So that's the pleaser. So that means you have low faith and low truth. I hope none of you are truly in the pleaser. But she did talk about this, and I thought it was so good because she was talking about how you can kind of be in 2 quadrants in one season of life, or depending on certain circumstances, you can kind of go back and forth. And then the high faith, low truth is wounded. So you're a performer, charismatic, outspoken, passionate, appears maybe a little abrasive. You're perceived as not a team player. comes across as high and mighty, think they know everything, can be viewed as judgmental. So this is the wounded offender. And then the one that we all want to be in is the one with high truth and high faith, and that's empathetic, deeply rooted in identity, understanding, strong sense of belief in yourself, holds space for beliefs that are contrary to your own, compassionate, firm, honorable, and justice seeking, stands up for others while maintaining integrity. And so I thought that was so interesting just to read through those because I never really thought about some of them. Like I could see myself in like a few different ones. Rachel, you're looking at me. Have you read? I've heard that you might have read the book. She's like, are you talking to me? Yeah, you. Have you read? Yeah.
You're muted. You
Oh
make
yeah,
sure
you're
you unmute
muted.
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm muted. Sorry. I've been listening to it because we are reading the other one. So I've got this one, but
Two of them. Oh, get out of
they're
your head. We just did that one. It's so good. They mesh really well together.
that's what I was
Yeah.
just telling her. I was like, I think God's
Yeah.
telling me something because when I read this one, the other one automatically just pops in my car. There's
Yeah.
no push button, nothing. It just an automatically pops on, and I'm
I
like,
love
God's
that.
trying to tell me something. So I don't even turn it off. So I'm listening at her because there's times that she's like screaming. She's like, no, you shouldn't have, and I'm like,
Yeah.
mm, okay. So I was
And
just
she's like
telling
Puerto
Brittany,
Rican too. Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, it comes out in her when
Um,
she switches, and I'm like, okay,
uh-huh.
okay, girl.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I was telling Brittany, I told her, I was like, I'm not gonna switch it because God's trying to tell me something. Like the message has to stick. So
Yeah.
whatever I'm converts into my car, it's like there's a message there. So I'm having to grasp
Well,
that.
I would love to know, do you know which quadrant you feel like you identify with the most? The critic, the pleaser, the wounded, or do you feel like you are empathetic?
Probably the pleaser.
The pleaser. Okay. So you break your own self boundaries, low self integrity. You feel like you do have influence, but maybe not feel like you're authoritative enough.
Sometimes I do,
You
yes.
fear
I mean, because
rejection.
I guess it can just shift a little bit, but yeah, definitely I can, but no, definitely I
Yeah.
can be to where I can influence, and then it's like,
Yeah. What do you feel
so
like? What do you feel like if you're thinking about yourself as the pleaser? What do you feel like is the biggest takeaway about this identity? How do you feel like it affects your ability to speak truth and walk in faith when it comes to network marketing?
um, well, I was sharing that with somebody else today, actually. Um, but as far as a pleaser here at home, I'm trying to please everybody, but then it's like there's a nerve that you sometimes you think, is your family allowed to strike that nerve? And when you walk out of your house, do you allow, is it the same? Is it the same? Do you put them in the same category? Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes it's like there should not be any difference. There shouldn't be any difference. But do you please more at home? Do you please more outside of home? It just depends and who certain people. Um, I've caught myself doing that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we're human, right? So, but I
Yeah.
think we learn from what you do at home. But I think honestly, here at home is who I want to apologize first because a lot of times the people outside, sometimes they don't matter. They do matter, but in the aspect as they don't live with me, they don't see me on a daily basis. So if I something happens here at home, I'm gonna be the first to apologize here. But I do like, do I carry that outside? Am I really that person? Like,
Yeah.
so I beat myself up in the aspect of you want to be a godly person all the way around. Like you want to be here at home and you want to be outside. And so, but I do tell people, I mean, just being honest with yourself. And whenever I talk about the products and things like that, I always tell them, I'm going to tell you, I left it to God. I did because
Yeah.
I prayed about it. I put it in my journal. I have a journal that I write in every day, and Plexus has been in that journal. And
Yeah, I
I
love that.
know for a fact that God has brought me here to be, I am where I need to be because of
Yeah.
God. And so, but don't think I haven't questioned it.
Well,
There's
I
been
love
times that
that.
I've questioned it.
I
So,
love that you're because you are even talking about that though, you are confident in where you stand. And I think you've already recognized kind of where you're falling short. And I feel like that's probably one of the hardest things when I first started, like understanding and recognizing who I even was. You know, Plexus, like this whole opportunity is truly like drawing out
mhm,
every bit of you to try to figure out who am I and who can I be, not only for my team and my friends and my customers, but also for yourself and for your family. And so something that you said, I thought that was so good, because you were talking about your family, and the boundaries that it said. There was something that I highlighted and I just lost it. Yeah, it says, and on page 123, if you're reading, if you're in the book, enrolling others in your vision is the key to setting and honoring your boundaries. And I think we've talked about that before hey, Jory, I just saw that you're on here. I think that is so vital whenever we do have our families on board and we are communicating like what we're doing and why we're passionate, or maybe there's a time where you like something's going on with the customer and you're trying to respond, and maybe something has happened at home, and like those two things bleed. Especially when I first got started, I had such a hard time navigating that because I was constantly, my eyes were glued on this phone because I felt this pressure, this urgency to get to a customer right away, because it was like, if this order doesn't happen right now, it's not gonna happen. Which, by the way, if you need to know this, if they reach out to you, if the order is gonna, if it's gonna go through, it's gonna go through. If the customer is meant to order from you, it's gonna work out fine. You don't have to be on your phone 24/7. That's such a healthy boundary to set there. There is one thing I know I don't want to go through the whole thing, but um this chapter 5 is talking about walking in a fence. Jory, do you even know what we're talking about here?
No, but it sounds intriguing. I'm really excited. I love it.
Okay. Well, let me catch you up really quick so you know what our
No, you
team
don't need to
is.
catch me up. It's okay. I don't want to take up from everybody's time. It's really good. I just
Well, so you know, permission to offend.
okay,
We're
right on.
learning, yeah. So we're learning about like our boundaries and like our own identities when it comes to being more confident and unashamed whenever we are approached with the naysayers and people that are not on board with what we're doing, because that is one of the biggest things I think that I've struggled with personally is being that critic, that perfectionist, but also whenever people are reaching out to me, or if I see someone, like actually recently I had a neighbor, I sent it to a few people. It was like, yo, I think she sent this so that I could see it. And it was this woman, like, all of you people talking about gut health and cleanses and detoxes, like my algorithm is messed up. Like it was so negative. And y'all, I had to sit there for a second and check myself, because I was like, ooh, like I gotta be confident in this. Like I'm not gonna allow this thing that she shared, which by the way, she deleted it because I'm sure she was like, oh, that was probably, she's gonna think I target, which I definitely did. I got in my feelings for a second. I was like, but you know what? I was like, no, I'm going to be confident in what I have here because I know why I'm here and I know what I've experienced. I want to read this really quick and then we can let Jory pop in here. So she talks about in chapter 5, what's your offense capacity quotient? She says, how tolerant are you of the ideas, opinions, and judgment of other people? My personal goal is to get to a place in my life where I don't give a rat's tail about what anybody thinks, believes, feels, or says about me, my family, or my work, even if it's the person whose love and respect I give most. Scratch that, especially if it's someone whose love and respect I crave, because letting the ideas, opinions, and judgments of people, especially those I love and respect, can and have derailed me from pursuing my dreams. And so she just goes in and talks about criticism and critics, and there's always going to be those people there, but whenever we can get to that quadrant that we were talking about earlier, where we do have not only high faith, but also high truth in what we have to offer, this company, also yourself, when you can have high truth and have faith in yourself that you can be successful in this business, that is where we're going to go so far. And so I just encourage all of y'all that if you have not got this book yet, it's so good. There's lots of like tangible action steps that you can take, because if you are only hopping on these calls to figure out how to get more customers or how to grow your business, then you're not getting the most out of this opportunity. I truly feel like this is such a good opportunity to truly figure out who you are because it will bleed into so many other areas of your life, like Rachel was just talking about in her own home. Um, so chapters 4 and 5 are really, really good, but we still have a long way to go. So if you have not got it yet, get it. And like she is doing, get the audiobook where you can just listen in your car. It's really good. And by the way, I'm talking to the author, and so I think she's going to hop on a call with us maybe toward the end when we're done with the book club. So that'll be really fun.
Wow,
But I'm
that would be
excited to hear what
awesome.
Jory has to say.
I'm waiting for Rachel to honestly
Yeah.
get in the car one day and it automatically kicks in and she's like yelling and
Oh
like
yeah.
catch Rachel off guard on the audio. I'm waiting
Yeah,
for that to
Jory,
happen.
the author is Puerto Rican, and so she can like get in this like high
She
temper,
gets
you know, she's like
spicy.
telling the story and it's like, whoa, whoa,
She did
okay.
that.
Yeah.
She did that. That's what threw me off because I got in my car and happened to, and I was like, she's yelling at me. What did I do? Like, that's when I was
Yeah,
like, God's telling me I
Love
need to get
it.
it together because I'm reading this book and it's
yeah.
like, get out of your head. And then she's in my head in my car.
I
So,
love
Yeah,
yeah.
it.
thank you.
Well,
Thank
so
you for letting
that
me call you
that
out.
actually reminded me, Jory, when you were here in Tennessee and we were at that event at Meredith and Jay's house, and you talked about like setting boundaries for yourself. Like y'all, Jory freaking loves Plexus. Like he lives, breathes Plexus. He is like the face of Plexus now. And he talked about like he works all day and like gives 150%. And then like when he gets home, he's just like mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. But he's like me and he gets hangry. And so, Jory, tell him what you told us about like eating dinner at work before you got home so that you would be home and you would be like happy.
I don't know. You're just talking me up here now, and
Yes.
I don't really know what to say
No,
here.
it's
Just
true.
it's so good to see you guys. I think it's all about knowing who you are and just helping bridge that gap and just really setting yourselves up for success, right? So, if you know you're not a morning person, to schedule a workout in the morning, you're just going against the grain right off the bat, and it just makes it really, really hard. Similar to me, I love to eat, and I like to eat a lot. And when I don't eat, yeah, I get a little hungry and I get a little angry. And I was starting to see, when I get home from work, when my family needed me the most, I wasn't present because I was hungry. I had just talked to, 30 people in the last 3 hours, and I really just didn't want to talk to anybody. So, just kind of sitting down and just having a really good, solid look at, what matters most and what can set you up for success, I realized, if I eat at around 4 or 5 o'clock before I get home, so I'm not hungry when I get home, then the moment I walk through the door, that's already eliminated and I'm ready to go. Right. So, similar to kind of what you guys are talking about. And I just wished I could actually be on so many of these calls because it sounds like it's an incredible book and the dialogue is awesome. And who wouldn't want to be with all you guys? But, I think that it's just kind of setting yourselves up for success. And I was saying this a little bit earlier. Just remember that you guys have the power, right? And I really hope this sticks with you. And if you have a piece of paper or a pen, I would really encourage you guys to write this down. I would remember this. It's really important that you guys remember you have the water and you should be interviewing people to see if they're the right fit for you. So I'm going to say that one more time. Just remember what you have, not only just this team, but just the community that you have. Plexus is a small part of that for sure. But you have the water and people need the water right now. And so it's just as much you making sure they're the right fit for you and your time. And if your posture is such where you're interviewing people to see if they're the right fit for you, it'll change your positioning, it'll change your approach. And there might even be times where you realize, I don't want that person around me. And you know
Mhm.
what? Good, because we don't either. And this just isn't the right timing in their life. And if you're really stepping and leaning into that, you can even go so far as to remove plexus from every conversation and not put that weight, not put that, you have to enroll somebody in 2 minutes within talking them. Remove that. Give yourself some grace and just connect. Just connect. And it's kind of like the garden theory where it's just plant seeds and go along in water. And then as some start to sprout, bloom, then pick them. So I just love this because I love Plexus. Obviously, you know, I'm pretty passionate about it because I see what happens behind closed doors and what this company does and where it's going. It's incredible. But people need Plexus right now. When you look at just the statistics, and I just am running with this here, Brittany. So I
Here,
can,
go
I don't
before
know.
you do that, tell everybody like what you do at corporate real quick. Because there's a lot of newer people here too that are like they've heard the name because we talk about you and Jennifer all the time. We're obsessed with y'all, but tell them like what your title, what you do.
Well, yeah, titles, smitles, all the good things. But I work at Plexus on the sales side. And so I've been there just coming up on 2 years now. And I think if there's a group of people that just live and breathe, Plexus, know about Plexus, see the value and really work to bring and share tools and resources with you guys, it'd kind of be myself. So currently right now I'm the VP of global sales, so manage Australia, Mexico, Canada, and the US just as far as a sales standpoint, but really just supporting you. It's not really leading, it's supporting and just really trying to give you what you need so that you can be successful. And that's really what our goal is to partner and to collaborate and to see you succeed. Because if you succeed, under 750,000 unique shoppers, around 10 to 15% on any given month are sharing Plexus, and the number is continuing to grow, and we are just getting warmed up. And when you sit and you look at, a lot of the statistics right now, it's incredible with, the health and wellness space, but within the health and wellness space, there's the global, I guess, gut health digestive space. And when you look at that right now, it's around 12.5 billion in the US. And by 2030, it's expected to hit 26 billion, right? And so it has one of the fastest growing segments within the health and wellness space. And that's what we do. We don't mess around in it. We deliver, we perfect that. And we've been doing that for 17 years. And the reason that you don't see eyelashes and women's workout pants and fake hair and nails and, car tires and, you know, fuel additives is because we do gut health, we do weight management, we do nutrition well, and we have a proven track record within that space. And all you have to do is literally go and ask the success stories and how Plexus has changed so many lives. And when you pair that with the fact that right now, over 40% of Americans are looking for a second income in some capacity, over 45% already have a second income. And I've shared that with you before. I'm seeing Cheyenne on here, Miss Strickland. Still going to come to a football game. Miss Higgins. I'm just going around. I can go through and just say hello to everybody because it's just so good to see you. Madeline, holy smokes, it's been a while. And Natalie, I don't know how the golf tournament was with Ethan. Is that Ethan behind you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Tell him I
He
said
probably heard you and
hello.
came running.
Oh no, I don't
That
know.
you're his boy.
No, he's the man, the myth, the
That was
legend.
the truth. He came in here just for you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, good to see you and Kara. It's just so good to see you guys. And I know Marissa. I had a chance to talk with her a little bit. She's incredible. And just taking a step back and just kind of looking this week, what's your horizon? And it was incredible because we have Ed Milet who's going to be coming to convention, and he had a podcast that I'm sure everybody has, listened to a podcast. If I had a 25 cents for everybody who said on the podcast I heard, but I am going to do it, and I apologize. But Ed had a gentleman who was on who was part of, I think it was SEAL Team 6 um, that found Osama bin Laden. But they just talked a little bit about, you know, what does that entail, and not just in going to go in and do that raid, but the preparation that goes into that and what we don't see. But if everybody actually realized the preparation that goes in behind the scenes, then you would understand why that team is so successful. And what they really talk about is what allows them to be so successful is not the goal for the year, or the goal for the 6 months, but every single day they create a new horizon. And that's what they call it, is a new horizon. And it's essentially saying, what's the one thing that I can do today that if I do a bunch of these little things over the course of 30 days, it's going to generate a bigger goal, but not having to worry about the 30 days, but let's just worry about today. And when I'm sitting and I'm just chatting and I'm just kind of equating it to Plexus, your entire business is fueled by the nucleus of connecting with new people and finding out where they are. And if you can do that really, really well and just remove even the discussion that you need to have about Plexus, but just connecting with people, your business is going to thrive and it will continue to thrive doing it every single month, just connecting and taking a step back from Plexus, even just connecting in the sense of just bettering who you get to know and how you get to meet and just networking and just bettering your life in general. And if you can connect with literally 5 people a day to, do one of the 5 C's, and I'm going to try and get these right, and I might not get it, but, there's compliment, there's celebrate, there's commit. And I already mentioned the connect, but also, celebrate. Then it just allows you to start having some conversations. And if you start to have conversations with more and more people, it's going to better your confidence and posture about who you're talking with and be able to decide who you want to work with and not have to sacrifice or concede to going back to the same people over and over to see if they're ready, because you don't need to worry about that because you have the next 5 to talk to. And so that entire freshwater flow of new connections coming in allows you to kind of pick and choose. And I would just encourage you guys, this week heading into what could be our biggest year in 17 years at Plexus. Like, put on your seatbelt, pull up your socks, because we are just getting warmed up. What was it, Al Pacino? We're just getting warmed up. But this is going to be a massive year and continued enhanced foundation that is going to allow you to continue to set up your business for many years to come. And the amount of announcements and enhanced foundation, tools, resources that you are going to get is just going to add fuel to your fire. So the more that you can show up with those that are engaged and having at least connected so that they're aware of how their life could be changed, just educated on what Plexus could do, the better you're going to be. From Eric Worre, that we have engaged with on special projects, who's got a lot of industry experience, all the way to, some product announcements that are coming that are going to allow you to have completely new conversations with new people and literally double or even quadruple the size of your business just from some of those new conversations that you're going to be having, all the way to the tools and the resources coming out of convention. It's just setting yourselves up for success. But as you start to look ahead, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. And what do I need to do? That's where I come back to your horizon. And just what can you do tomorrow that makes tomorrow an incredible day? And so I don't know if I will ever be invited back on this call again, but I hope I
Absolutely.
do. But I will say this, if everybody tomorrow, right? If we look on here, we have 33 people. If everybody tomorrow, collectively as a group, just connected with 5 people. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to do the math. Is it 165?
Sure.
Was I close?
Sure.
33 times 5?
I
I'm
do
hoping.
want to ask you though, Jory.
Yeah.
So a lot of us on here, and sometimes I'm even in this bucket too, get nervous and start sweating when it comes to those new reach outs. How can we grow our network outside of Facebook? You and I have had this conversation. Y'all, Jory was the one that gave me the idea last summer to start doing those coffee meetup dates, and it took off. Okay. I did a call with him and I was like, Jory, help. I need your help. And he was like, Brittany, you were in the corporate environment. Get out there, meet people, get out of your house. You're able to do that. Go have coffee with people. So tell them like what are some other ways
Yeah.
that we can grow our network with social media and without social media, because we do have some stay-at-home moms. We've also got people that are working full time and they're not able to go and have coffee with someone in the morning or have lunch with somebody on their lunch break. What are some ways that they can grow their network?
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's not only just finding some other ways to grow your network, but finding some other ways that truly align and feel good to you to be able to connect with people.
Yes.
Because, so often you can hear somebody say, just do this, this, and this,
Mm-hmm.
but that just doesn't really feel right for you. And so right off the bat, we talked about that noise at the beginning of the call and really just kind of setting yourself up for success. If you're hearing an approach that doesn't necessarily work for you, then that's great. You realize that's not a good approach. So now it's a great opportunity to find an approach. And so, here's what I would just encourage everyone to do. And I apologize. This is more for Ethan, I think, just because he's another husband on the phone. But, just taking something out of a fishing analogy, I would literally set up 5 or 6 different fishing holes. And each of those different fishing holes, you're going to put a cast into, you're going to put a lure into, and see after literally 5 to 10 days where you're receiving the most reciprocated communication back. So one could be on Facebook or Instagram, not necessarily feeling like you have to do a reel or you have to go and do this, but even just commenting and connecting with someone and acknowledging that you like how they do something and wanting to ask for a little bit of feedback or guidance, or just even, hey, I just love to network. You have this, I have this. Maybe we can help each other. And it's just starting some of those connections and seeing who starts to engage with you a little bit and keeping track of who they are. And if you have a good vehicle to just keep track of who they are, you can continue those conversations and you can start to explore maybe how you guys can help each other. All the way to, and I know you said not necessarily social media, but all the way to, doing reels or posting things and seeing what that engagement looks like. I'd encourage you to also take one of the biggest untapped, sources, which is referrals,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you got to realize there is nothing better connecting with someone when you have something in common with somebody. Hey, I'm reaching out to you because we both know Kara, right? Like we both worked in a corporate environment. I see that we have this person and this person in common. Or I noticed there was this about you. How do you guys know each other? Or you know what? Maybe I'm going to even reach out to Kara. I'm going to reach out to Brittany and be like, hey, you and I both know somebody who, lives in Nashville or, wherever you want to say, right? Savannah or whatever the town is. I don't want to necessarily call that a town, it's more of a city, but wherever that is. And look, I'm looking to kind of grow my business and connect and meet with some people. Can you put me in touch with a couple people who know a little bit about where that is? Or, hey, I noticed this about you, or I noticed this about you, and I am looking to educate and share my experience with some gut health that I think a lot of people would know. I know you know a lot of people in the health and wellness space. Would you mind putting me in touch with people, or can you just set up this? But having a referral introduce some people is a massive way to go. And when you even look at some of those referrals, you can reach out to them and say, hey, I know you're not necessarily interested in this, but I do know that you know a lot of people in this space, this space, this space. Could we team up and could we partner together? And could you help me with this, this, and this? So there's that aspect of it. The other thing is there's virtual and physical events. And what I love about virtual and physical events is you can go to every single one, participate in every single one. There's like, I don't know what the statistic is. I think there's like 797 that are going on tonight, all across Facebook that have like literally over 1,000 people on it, from how to buy your next house, how to set up your next Shopify. But there are communities of people that are out there that you can connect with and just start connecting and having that discussion with. Um, but not having to go and approach them, but just connect. And I think that's where a lot of the grace and pressure, if you can take off yourself, can come from. So you can start in that respect. And then the other one, I think, is, just kind of finding out where, and I'm going to tell you guys a story, and I think I've told a lot of people this story, just partnering with someone and calling people together with a partner. And the story that I kind of shared, and I apologize if you guys have heard this before, but is what actually attracted me to this business and actually getting involved with it which is there was a lady who is a county prosecutor and the other one who is a bank manager. And the two of them were actually kind of nervous and didn't necessarily feel comfortable calling people. So what they decided to do was move their offices in together. And they decided to come together at lunch break and they took turns each and every day bringing lunch. And they put the phone on speaker and they literally just started calling people together like, hey, this is Heather, and hey, this is Rachel. How the heck are you? We haven't seen you in a while. We'd love to catch up, see what you've been doing. And by the way, you work here, we work here. We'd love to connect with you sometime. Maybe we can get together. And to Brittany's point, maybe we can get together for a cup of coffee. And that's where they realized that people weren't hiding under their desk. People were literally always before work going for a cup of coffee. So why not bring this to them, knowing that everybody was going to stop before work and get a cup of coffee to say, hey, just before you go to work, meet us on 7th and Main. We'd love to see you guys, just catch up, see what you've been up to, and just find out a little bit what you're doing. And hey, we've started a couple new things. We'd love to share it with you. Make sure you come by on Thursday, the 22nd at this time, and we'll catch up. So what they started to do was they started to invite a lot of different people just to come meet them for a cup of coffee, see what they're doing, and see what they're doing in their spare time. And those people ended up buying people, bringing people who brought people who brought people to the point where literally every single morning before work, that community of people started meeting in 5 different coffee shops, which turned into 15, which then turned into over 30 coffee shops around Escondido, California. So literally there was 5 to 6. Like you think of everybody on here, there's 28. So people are dropping off because they're hearing me talk a little bit because there was 33. But but what I will say is there's 28 people on here. If 3 people just connected at one coffee shop and invited everybody that they know just to come by for a cup of coffee, that's another area where you could just connect with people. You don't even have to talk about Plexus.
That's
So
literally what I did too. Y'all, like, Jory knows that I'm a big coffee drinker. I love coffee. And so I told him that, like, we have all these mom and pop coffee shops in my town and surrounding towns, and everyone goes to the coffee shops and works and has their kids there, and they do like the homeschool co-ops meet up there and like all of this stuff. And so he was like, post in one of your groups, your girls groups, and say, hey, I'm gonna be at this coffee shop at this time on this day. If y'all, any other moms on here that don't have kids during that time, want to come and hang out and just be with another mom with no kids for an hour, meet me there. Y'all, I had 5 people that I'd never met before show up to that very first coffee date. And the thing that, like, Jory even reminded me, he's like, you're walking into this also thinking, how can I not thinking, how can I get these people to buy Plexus from me? You're walking into this like wanting to connect with people and make new friends and new connections. And we didn't talk anything about Plexus in that first meeting. I just got to know all of them. I'm friends with all of them on Facebook. They see all of my stuff. One of them is on my team now, and she brought it up. And so I think that's a big portion of it too. If you do decide to do some stuff like that, make sure you do go in with the mindset of like, I want to get to know these people. I want to start these connections because some of these people will be really, really good friends and they may not join you, but like he said, you can get referrals from
mhm.
a lot of these people too. And so it has been a lot of fun, and it has really helped me grow my team too. So I was thankful for that.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, I would just, even if you just want to keep it super simple, I think everybody can find 5 people tomorrow to
Yeah.
compliment across
Yep.
some way. And if you can get your 5 in, you do 25 a week. That's 100 compliments you've given over the course of the month. That's 100 connections that you wouldn't have otherwise made. And so it doesn't hurt. It's just a great way to try to strike up some engagement and just inject some enhanced or even more energy into your business.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. And I'm just wanting to encourage everybody kind of what the next, 3, 4 weeks look like, and the preparation going in is only going to set you guys up for success
Hmm.
and your business and your strong foundation over the course of the summer and going into the rest of the year um, is going to really, really be important over the next kind of 3 to 4 weeks.
I love it. Any last minute thoughts, Jory, or does anybody have any questions for Jory? You're going to be at convention. So we
I
will
hope
all
so.
see him at convention. We'll be snagging all the pictures with Jory at convention for sure. If you're not registered for convention, why? First of all, as Eric Worre said on the call the other day, whatever your excuse is as to why you're not going to convention is the reason why you need to be there. If you can't go because you think you can't afford it, that's why you need to be there. And so if you're not registered, get registered because, like Jory said, they're about to roll out new products and all kinds of updates and everything. Y'all, they have spent some big bucks on these speakers and it's going to be amazing. I don't know what the new products are, but I cannot wait to find out. They always keep us on our toes. They're always so far ahead. Like I think some of us think we know what the new product is, but it's probably not going to be what we think it is, but it's going to be something even better because y'all are always like 10 steps ahead. And it just makes sense every single time they roll something out. And so I love that y'all listen to us in the field and you take our feedback back to corporate and they listen and they try to implement some of the things that we want to see. What does Caitlin say? Oh, okay. Does anybody have any questions for Jory real quick? And we'll let him go back to his family tonight. Jory, we love you. Thank you
Oh,
so
you guys are the
much.
best. Love you guys too. And just remember the whole Enroll Six this month.
Yes.
This is not going to be continued to be rolled out. And so, the whole Enroll Six and get an extra $400, you help anybody enroll six, upgrade to brand ambassador. Obviously, they'll hit silver on their way to senior silver. They're going to be bringing in around $800. And it's just a great way for everybody to get started and be able to share their story. And so just walking out of here, having a running mate, continuing to just connect with those five people will set you up to be able to find that running mate. So enjoy that. We're excited to offer that and just can't wait for everybody to come and to see everybody. And I just saw this here. Caitlin, you won't be able to be there, but you're doing much more important things. So we're really excited for you. And yeah,
We got a
just
lot of Plexus babies on our team, Jory.
yeah, that's so good. That's so good.
All
That's so good. Well, it's great to see everybody, eh? And
right. Thank
I
you
hope
so
everyone has
much,
a great week.
Jory.
Yep, great to
All
see you.
right. Love y'all. Have a
Guys,
good night.
cheers. Cheers,
Jory.
buddy.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
y'all. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Jory.